Hey everybody, it's time for another 10-minute Tuesday, and tonight I'm going to talk about sleep disruptors because, as I've talked about before, sleep is very important to how we function on a daily basis. It's really important to not only get enough sleep but get very restful sleep. And so there's lots of things that can disrupt our sleep and affect our day-to-day functioning. And sleep is just so important for our immune function, and something you might not have known is that getting enough sleep can also help balance our appetites because it helps regulate the hormones that affect our feelings of hunger and fullness. So if you're somebody that's been struggling with maybe some extra hunger pangs or gaining weight, it could be something for you to look into to see if how your sleep might be affecting that. So behind me on the shelf here is part of my recommendations for the evening. So as we go along, you should see that start to glow brighter and brighter as long as I've set it up the correct way. So we'll see if that works out. But let's talk about some potential disruptors for what could be affecting you not getting as great of sleep as you could be. So lots of different things play into this. I'm going to only mention a few. Bedroom temperature is one of them, which might be surprising to you, but our body temperature actually drops in our stage 2 sleep, and we can become uncomfortable if we're sleeping in a room that's too warm for us, and could be with lots of covers or lots of layers on when we go to sleep. So it's recommended that you turn your thermostat down a few degrees at night compared to what you're comfortable with during the day. Also things like alcohol, medications, and caffeine can affect our sleep in different ways. And I even did a video a couple weeks ago about caffeine and how it just affects your body overall, so that might be something for you to check out if you're interested. Our hormones also affect our sleep because our cortisol levels dip at night around bedtime, and then they also start to increase over the night more towards the morning to help promote alertness, which actually helps you wake up. So if your cortisol is either too high at night or too low in the morning, you might be having a hard time falling asleep and then getting back up when you're supposed to. So that's something you can get checked really easily with a simple blood test from your doctor. You can get your cortisol level checks and supplement from there if you need to. Now, another big thing that affects our sleep, which is so key in the day and age that we're in, are electronics, because a lot of us have some kind of handheld device or phone, smartphone that we're just on all the time. We're using it for computing purposes. We're living out social media, all that kind of stuff. I'm recording right now on an iPhone, as you can see. So we all just use our phones quite a bit. So not only our phones, but things like TVs, other computers, tablets, all of those things put off what's called a blue light. And so blue light is on the spectrum. That's what makes your screen look really crisp and white and bright. Makes it really easy for you to read the things that are on your screen. And it's great during the day because what the blue light does is it mimics a bright morning. It helps us wake up, it boosts our attention, lets us know it's time to start the day. So that's really great during the day. But it's bad at night to be staring at these blue light devices because our bodies are actually trying to wind down for sleep. Our brains are trying to shut off, signal to the rest of our body that it's time to go to bed. And studies have actually shown that looking at a bright blue screen in the evening can confuse our biological clock and disrupt our natural circadian rhythm, which is not good. And what that is doing is basically suppressing your natural melatonin that's in your body, and it's making it harder for you to fall asleep. So all light disrupts your circadian rhythm, but it is known that blue light is the most disruptive. So it's good if we can limit that. So if you're not willing to limit your screen time in the evening, 30 to 60 minutes before you go to bed, I do have another quick tip that could be helpful to you. I just started doing it maybe like a month or two ago. But if you have a smartphone and if it's equipped with something called, like night shift mode is what they call it on an iPhone, there's a way to change the color temperature on your phone to a more yellow color at night. So what that does is just cuts down on the blue light. You can automatically have it set up so it'll do it on its own. You don't have to click a button even, but it'll kind of be like an alarm clock that it'll just switch itself over at the time you want it to. So what that is you can go into the settings, the display and the brightness. There's the night shift mode, adjust the color temperature that you want to see in the evenings, and then set it to a timer. You can do the sunset and sunrise based on your location. What I do is usually have it click over to night shift mode at 10 p.m. because that's about the time that I'm winding down for the evening. and then it just switches itself over in the mornings back to the blue light, which is helpful for during the day. So using this can be helpful. It's a really easy switch, so just check out if your phone has that. And that way, if you're not willing to cut down on your screen time, at least your eyes are adjusting better in the evenings to that warmer light instead of the blue light. And then another last thing here that can be affecting your sleep is the lighting in your bedroom. So our bodies are actually designed to be awake when it's light outside and sleep when it's dark. So if you have some excessive light going on in your bedroom, that could be keeping you awake or disrupting your sleep. When we wake up naturally, say like on the weekends, if you have the luxury of sleeping in and just letting your body wake itself up without an alarm clock, we wake ourselves up based on a couple factors. That's the amount of external light that's coming in and the setting of our internal alarm clock, and that's called our circadian rhythm, as I mentioned. So it's best to sleep in complete darkness if you can and wake up to natural light. It's not always possible based on people's job situations or living conditions. Even your location in the world can be affected by how much light's coming in the mornings and how much is in there in your bedroom in the evenings. But it's best to have it as dark as possible when you're going to sleep and then as light as possible when you're trying to wake up. So that leads me into one of my recommendations for the evening. Is this light that I have behind me. This is called a Philips Wake Up Light, and it has sunrise simulation. And this was recommended to me from a coworker, and I bought it probably 6 months back maybe, and I love it. So what this has been doing while I've been talking here is it's been gradually brightening itself, and it goes up 10 different levels, gets really bright, and here in a few minutes it'll actually start chiming in with an alarm, and at that point it will be full brightness for whenever you set the timer to go off. So what's really cool about this is if you live in a dark area or you have your bedroom pitch black at night, this will actually simulate a sunrise in the morning and not only kind of wake you up gradually, but it'll actually make you feel better when you're getting up instead of just an instant blaring alarm clock into a dark room. So it's really cool. I'll post a link to that in the comments if you want to check it out, but it's pretty inexpensive. It was like $40 or less, and I've been loving it so far. Some of my other recommendations are for some sleepy time oils. I use lavender a lot at night. This is one of my go-tos. Cedarwood is always great. This is good for diffusing. And then if you want the whole shebang, Tranquil is an awesome roll-on that you can get that's got lavender, cedarwood, and Roman chamomile. You can roll it right on your feet at the end of the day and then inhale the rest, and that just helps your body and brain relax for the evening and get ready for sleep. And then last but not least, some people take melatonin, which is a natural sleep aid. It's been used for lots and lots of years. You might be interested in this if you're already on some medications and maybe you can't take a prescription sleep aid. I try to take natural stuff anyway. So as with all supplements, as I've recommended before, definitely just do your research on the brand and their sourcing practices to make sure you're getting a quality product to you that you're putting into your body, which is really important. And if I know that I'm going to be needing some extra sleep or some really quality sleep before maybe a long trip or a long day at work or something like that, I like to take something from Young Living called Sleep Essence. And this is a capsule, it's a liquid capsule, and it's already it's got melatonin in it. It also has lavender, vetiver, valerian, and ruta essential oils just to help you get a full night's sleep. So that's one of my recommendations as well. I don't use them very often, but definitely when I need an extra boost to my sleeping practices, I love to take the Sleep Essence. So those are some of my recommendations for the evening. And I'll probably be able to turn this off before this alarm goes off. But there's so many other things about sleep that I can talk about. I'll probably have to drag that out into a couple more subjects, but tonight specifically I just wanted to talk about the sleep disruptors, how you can help yourself get a better quality sleep when you actually do get to sleep. And I use all of these things all the time, every day, because I need a lot of help getting up in the morning. I'm not a morning person, and I definitely need all the help that I can get. Oh, and here's my alarm. So as you can see, that's getting louder and louder. And I'll go turn that off. And then the light shuts itself back down. So that's all for my talk tonight, guys, on sleep disruptors. I hope you found some of that helpful, and I'll see you all again next Tuesday, and I hope you get a great night's sleep tonight. Bye!